Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from Channel 5 studio in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes, Start Your Morning Right with your hosts, April Martinez and Desani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
I am Sangria Cayetano.
And I'm April Martinez.
Good
See
morning.
how you start your morning, right?
Good morning, April. Good morning.
Good morning, Isani. How
Welcome
are
back.
you? Thank you very much. Good to be
good,
back.
man. It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. It's the Mondiest Tuesday ever. But good to be here. Good to be on the couch with you. And of course, good to be here with all of our viewers. Thank you so much for starting your morning right here with us on Open Your Eyes. Isani, there's a lot I apparently need to catch up on, both on the social front and on the political front.
Yes.
So let's get right into our What's Buzzing conversation for this morning. All right, there are two topics I think we need to dive into this morning. First, it didn't make the direct headline in our news item last night, but there was a lot of conversation surrounding it. We made mention of it in our newscast, but surrounding the conversation of mental illness and so forth, and the way our police officers handle these types of situations was definitely the buzz on a conversation last night when I supposedly a person with perhaps mental challenges, mental issues, attacked a police vehicle, police officers by a police vehicle by Lake Independence yesterday. And then we saw him again at the Mahogany Street precinct. Appears to be the same person. We're not exactly sure why he attacked the officers and then retaliated again once he was shoved by the police officers. But we see him here again at the Mahogany Street precinct.
All right, so I'm taking a more cautious approach.
Sure.
Going by what is shown in the video only. I'm not certain that the person is mentally unsound.
Okay.
Again, I'm only going by the video. So the initial recording that was shared with us shows some kind of an interaction or an exchange between this individual and an officer.
Okay.
Again, I don't know what the tone of the conversation was about, whether the individual was in his right state of mind. I don't know that. What I saw in the video is the officer violently shoving him in the neck.
Yes.
And then he fell over into the drain. The officer then retreats and gets back into the mobile. The individual gets out of the drain with an object and lashes at the vehicle and chases the vehicle.
Yes.
Until the vehicle drives off. And then the other part of the video was the individual at the Mahogany Street precinct armed with a knife. And so he hits the flagpole before attempting to enter the precinct building. Then an officer in civilian attire comes with a baton and hits him on the hand and disarms him, and then they subdue him. That's the second part of the video. So that's a visual narration of what took place based on what was shared with us. Now, I think without necessarily laying blame on anyone, like I said, I don't know what was said. What I do know is the fact that it was not the individual who was shoved who accosted the officer first, based on the video alone. The officer just approached and shoved him in the throat, and he toppled over into the drain. Now, whatever the exchange of words may have been, perhaps there could have been a better way to deal with it.
Right.
Right? Only the immediate bystanders and those involved would be able to say otherwise. But based on what we've seen, that could have probably been handled differently.
Yeah.
Right? No, I cannot blame the officer in civilian clothes who struck him with the baton to disarm him.
Yeah.
Because this could have escalated into something else. I can recall several years ago where a Hispanic man, the last name is Toledo, the first name escapes me at the moment, but there was an incident at the Raccoon Street police station where Mr. Toledo, who was at the time heartbroken and lovelorn, apparently he found out that there was some kind of a relationship between a deceased officer and his wife at the time. I guess this was the alleged motive. Nonetheless, Sir Toledo, armed with a knife, entered the Raccoon Street police station or the compound and fatally stabbed the officer.
Right.
And at the time, the officers who were present scrambled to disarm him using a cement blocks, right? But the damage had already been done. The fatal injuries had already been inflicted upon the officer. So when I saw what happened yesterday and the manner in which the officer was able to attack from behind, disarm him, and then the rest of them, were able to subdue him, I'm thinking at least that was a safer approach, and there was no harm done to any other officer, anybody else in that immediate area. But again, what triggered it, I don't know. Because the video that was shared with us doesn't have any audio that says, okay, this was the reason why there was this verbal spat.
So here's the reason why I took the wording that I did. Based on the video, you're absolutely right. We don't hear anything. We don't know. This recording was shared by, of course, a civilian, a bystander that recorded the whole incident. But we've seen cases where we do have these persons that are not of mentally sound roam the streets. And on most occasions, they're harmless, right? You know, maybe one or two will say something and so forth. And based on the individual's appearance and the way he was coming forward, I'm looking at body language now, right? Again, no idea what words were exchanged.
It's kind of off-putting in the first instance, the fact that the man had on a mask.
And just his entire attire, everything about his demeanor. Like I said, I'm going strictly on body language and what I'm seeing in the video. No, if somebody is coming at you in that kind of way, I'm not sure if it was aggressive. I'm not sure what the exchange was. I don't know, right? But we've seen time and time again with other incidents where persons that are not mentally sound be aggressively attacked like this by this police officer that just got shown. And it doesn't help the situation. In fact, it escalates the situation like what happened in this video. And that brings me back to whenever we had that conversation with Compol about the type of training that the police officers receive. And he was talking about these ethics, these humanities trainings, and how to deal with persons, right? But for me, in these types of situations, this is not for a police officer per se, right? With this type of situation, you need a little bit more of that psychological training. And that's just my 2 cents when it comes to this, right? And I know that perhaps you might need a little bit more of that that stoic training. You might need to know a little bit about combat and so forth to perhaps subdue aggressiveness. But like you said, we don't know what happened actually. We don't know what put this individual to act this way.
Context is very, very important
Limited,
in a situation such as this, where the video was shared, and judging by the reactions online and what have you, it's trending and it kind of went viral.
Yes.
But there is no actual content shared any context shared as to why this thing happened.
Yes.
Right? And I don't know if the individual in the initial video was a clear and present danger or threat to anyone else around him, right? Because I don't know at what point they began recording. So maybe the altercation would have happened before that. We only see what was recorded and, you know, the subsequent series of events or what have you. But to the point that you're making, if the police department, more so the commissioner of police, has spoken about the lack of training and the need for officers to be properly trained how to deal with certain civilian members of society who may not be sound of mind, then perhaps this is one of those instances where you can reflect and say, yes, it is needed.
Yes, indeed.
Based on how it unfolded and based on how the officer reacted and responded in that particular scenario. Again, me don't know if the man that may threat to anybody there, I don't know, I just go by what I see, right? And it doesn't seem at that particular point that he was aggressing anyone. They were both standing, officer walks up, shoves him in the throat, topples over to the drain, and then the rest is what we see.
And, you know, just to kind of bring it all closer to home, when we see these types of incidents, and while in the media we are grateful for, you know, the type of footage, we investigate, we do our due diligence, and I'm sure we're going to find out more about it later on today. You know, for us as a community, we've seen it when we just kind of take a video and record. Okay.
Let me go in a different direction here, quickly. So even if this person was in his right state of mind, we have not been able to determine that. But if it was anybody else, say for instance, if it was me, just to draw an illustration here, how would I react if, yes, there's a verbal exchange between myself and an officer, or myself and anyone else, and that person comes and just shoves me in my throat and I end up in the drain? How would you expect me to react? It's a very straightforward question, based on the fact that we all have feelings, right? We all have certain aggression that is innate that we try to suppress, and we all have triggers, right?
Yes.
So that if in a situation like that, that is what triggers this individual, then how else would you expect him to react?
No.
I'm just putting that out there.
That I can't say that I disagree, and I would like to hear what our viewers have to say about this particular situation. Like I said, I'm always grateful when we're able to get certain footages and we get to investigate. But it often prompts up other conversations in terms of the way we treat civilians, not just persons in authority, but us as civilians. What would you have done if that individual came at you with a mask? You know, honestly, what would you have done? It's one of these things where, as we can sit here and we can have these conversations, but when you're in the moment, we have no idea how we're going to act. And that's just human nature, right? But we're gonna switch gears into another conversation, Isani, and this was something that was brought up to us earlier today, this morning actually, right before 6:30 a.m.
Well, here's the thing, right? So Belizeans have been on edge, waiting for the date of the the date of the election to be announced. And while many of us anticipated that this announcement would have been made at Friday's House meeting, because of other developments that took place just days prior, we didn't get the satisfaction of finding out when the elections would be called.
Yes.
And I don't want to preempt two things that are set to happen this morning. One, our actual conversation with one of the individuals who is part of a claim being brought against the government. That's for later in the show. Nor do I want to say definitively that this morning, sometime after 9:30, or thereabout, there will be an announcement to say that we are having the general elections. But I guess many of us in the media have been placed on standby. If you watched the Senate meeting yesterday, lead opposition Senator Mike Perafeet alluded to it as well.
Yes, he did.
All right? And so it is very much the chatter. So we're once again waiting with bated breath to see what will be said, or to hear what will be said this morning, right? But at this juncture, for me at least, there are more questions than answers. So even if the date is announced today, in light of what transpired last week with Senior Counsel Anand Ramlogan filing a pre-action protocol letter, if the announcement is made today, completely ignoring the fact that these concerns have been raised last week, then that's another conversation that the country has to have in terms of how we go about doing things the proper way.
Yeah.
Right? And like I said, I don't want to preempt the conversation that we'll have with Jerry Enriquez.
Yes.
He'll join us later on in the show. But like I said, for me, it raises more questions than answers. How are we going to navigate what appears to be very murky waters where the elections are concerned?
Yeah, you know, and this is to say that this is the administration, sorry, that placed the Ministry of Good Governance, right? They have tried to enact UNCAC so many times. We've talked about good governance, talking about, you know, constitution reform. We've been talking about ways that we are able to follow a particular system that is uncorrupt and just for us as civilians. But here's my issue with this, and just for our viewers to know that what we're really discussing is that there is going to be an announcement today, right, at 9:30, 9 a.m.
Sometime thereabout.
Right. We don't know what Prime Minister John Persenio is going to say, but we can only allude that it has something to do with the elections. We have no idea. But I say this because as civilians, I think that we've always been people that we have these discussions and then the next big thing takes precedence over something like this, right? And like I said, we're not going to go into details about our first conversation. That's why Jerry is going to be with us.
Well, if I could just interject shortly. To be real about any given situation is to accept the fact that we're not static. Time is not static. So while attention is being placed on any one particular issue, as time goes by, we move on to something else because we're in the here and now, right?
Agreed.
We can't necessarily hang up and belabor an issue regardless of how significant or important it is when other things are happening.
Yes, but then nothing gets resolved. And then we're stuck in this time loop of we complain because we know that the issue isn't being solved. And then something else takes precedence. We complain about that and the issue isn't solved. And then the first issue that we had a problem with isn't solved. And it kind of just creates this chain of effect that doesn't allow us to move forward in a progressive way as a society. And I think that when we're having these types of conversations, and yes, the economy is one of the biggest conversations that we always have because we have to live and breathe it every single day. But if we stop and think about things like we haven't solved certain issues about crime and violence, or we haven't solved certain issues about education, or we haven't solved certain issues about redistricting, things that they all connect in order to solve these other problems that we have. But we don't follow through, and we don't hold those in authority accountable to follow through. Because when they go into these meetings, they have these conversations that we don't really understand what's going on, Isani, really.
I will agree with you respectfully to a certain extent.
Okay.
Right? Because you're right, follow through is necessary, right? But like I said, in our small Belizean society, nothing remains stagnant for too long. So even if we're hung up, I'll just use an example. And I don't mean to be insensitive, it's just an example. Last week, our attention was fixed on 6-year-old Gabriel Oriano and the tragedy that befell him and his family. From Monday up to yesterday when he was buried, right? Now, going forward, ideally for us as members of the media, we should continue to follow up what takes place going forward in respect of Stella Maris and its security and whatever breaches would have happened and what the government is doing and so on and so forth. ideally we should keep our pulse on that. But you have an election looming, you have all of these other events taking place, right? So I'm simply saying, as an illustration, that we have to move on at some point. Granted, we should be able to look back and say, okay, what became of this incident as a matter of an update or a follow-up? But oftentimes we get so bogged down with everything else that our attention moves on. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. It's just, I think, like you said, we have to check ourselves too. And the reason why I say it's our responsibility to check ourselves is because at the end of the day, while we're looming for this election, there really wouldn't be one without us, the voters.
Yeah.
We are the ones that decide. And if we don't see these problems being resolved, what are you voting for? Really and truly. So that's my 2 cents on it. Like, yes, I know elections are extremely important. We have this entire year. There are 12 months in this year, well, 11 now, for us to figure out a date.
Well, 12 and 3 theoretically.
12 and 3 theoretically. But yes.
They can go all the way to the end of 2025 and still have 3 months.
Indeed. You're absolutely right. But yes, and while we're thinking about that, you think about what is it that you're actually seeing in terms of change, what it is that you want to see. Those are discussions that I think are far more important than when is the Prime Minister going to call elections. Right? So well, that's my 2 cents.
Setting the date puts everything else into motion, right?
But you have 4 to 5 years to think about all of that. Like, while they're in government, that's when you're supposed to be thinking about these are the changes you want to see.
I'm talking about the full-on campaign, right?
Fine.
Setting the date puts everything into motion. So now, while yes, we've seen banners go up, and we've seen both parties trying to, well, in the case of the PUP, they have their ducks in a row. They've introduced their 31 candidates. The UDP is yet to do so officially, but the point that I'm making is once the date is set, then things begin to roll.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We're going to stick a pin in that. We're going to find out what the PM has to say at 9 o'clock
today. And I'm tired of holding my breath with this one. So I'm hoping that, it's said, get it over with, or let's see what the next move will be. That's where I'm at.
And I think for us in the media, we have to know, right? Because we also have to put our stuff in gear in order to prepare for these types of events. So I get it. In the grand scheme of things, we all play a big role in this upcoming election.
So I'll use this opportunity quickly then.
Sure.
Right? So while we've been anticipating the date, well, the country has, from our end, we've begun to get the ball rolling. So we're as of today, we're beginning to feature our candidates from both major political parties and all other third-party or independent candidates as we begin our coverage of the campaign trail. Because at this point, we're not quite certain when, so it's easier for us to be proactive and start introducing these candidates to the public so that they too are familiar with who is running in their constituency, with a view to make an informed decision when you go to the booth. I'll leave it at that.
All righty, Sonny. But we're going to hear from our folks at the National Meteorological Service of Belize for a weather update.
Good morning. Relatively moist conditions will prevail today, and then drier conditions to gradually set in by tonight. In the 24-hour forecast, skies will be cloudy at times today, becoming partly cloudy tonight. A few showers will occur around the country during the day and then gradually decrease, becoming isolated by tonight. High temperatures during the day will reach around 85 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 88 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 76 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Then for tonight, low temperatures will reach around 78 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 70 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 68 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to southeast at 5 to 15 knots today, increasing to 10 to 20 knots by tonight, and then sea conditions will be moderate, with high tides occurring at 10:02 this morning and then at 9:30 tonight. Low tides at 3:07 this afternoon and then at 4:36 tomorrow morning. The moon will rise at 5:18 this evening and then set at 6:29 tomorrow morning. And then sunrise is at 6:21 this morning and sunset at 5:52 this evening. And now for the extended forecast for Wednesday and Wednesday night. Conditions will be generally fair with little or no rain expected. And in the sargassum update, while surface observations have shown a slight increase in sargassum reaching some beaches across the country, satellite imagery continue to suggest very low amounts over the region. Therefore, impacts are expected to remain minimal, at least for the next few days. And then sargassum will then likely increase towards the end of the month. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
All right, thank you so much to our friends at the National Meteorological Service for that weather update. Moving into our show lineup for this morning, as we were teasing earlier in our What's Buzzing, our first discussion, we are going to be welcoming Mr. Jerry Enriquez, who is a concerned civilian in the lawsuit representing the government to fulfill their redistricting promise before the announcement of the 2025 general elections. Now, we've been teasing redistricting for quite some time. We've been talking about it. So this conversation with Jeremy Enriquez is really going to solidify what this lawsuit is really about.
Our second conversation this morning, we will be joined by our friends from SMART. They're going to be here to talk to us about what they're doing to keep us connected in the month of February, the Love Month.
The Love Month. And in our third and final conversation here at Open Your Eyes, we love to support small businesses. And so why not sip, swirl, and smile with Sangria Mia as we find out how you can gift it to people you love, sticking with the month of love theme.
Yes.
But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's all about redistricting delays, 2025 general elections. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
Really? You not switch yet? No what? I tell you. I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that thought line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when that thought line bling, Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up and run, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's Smart or no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone,
have raised Belize's profile internationally by strategically advancing our interests and exercising regional leadership. Belize has held the chairmanship of CARICOM, the CARICOM Council for Foreign and Community Relations, and the Permanent Council of the OAS, held the presidency pro tempore of SICA and of Mesoamerica, co-chaired the Los Angeles Declaration process, and participated in the OAS high-level group on Peru. We have forged closer ties between Central America and the Caribbean by spearheading the adoption of a new plan of action on cooperation, convening trade ministers, and hosting a CARICOM-SICA summit. We have advanced Belize's development interests in high-level meetings with Japan, the EU, India, and many others. Belize's diplomats are at the forefront of global negotiations on climate change, protecting the interests of Belize. The first Belizean and first woman was appointed Secretary General of CARICOM in 2021. At a time of immense challenges and the erosion of globalization, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade has positioned Belize at the forefront of regional leadership.
It's time to wake up, move, and feel amazing. Get your heart pumping and your energy flowing with Morning Boost, a fun and dynamic workout show to kickstart your day. Whether you're a beginner or a fitness pro, we've got the moves to keep you motivated. So grab your mat, set your alarm, and let's get moving. Morning Boost, weekdays at 6 a.m., only on Channel 5.
And welcome back. For our first conversation this morning, we have been joined in studio by Jeremy Enriquez. He is one of three claimants, one of three Belizeans who are actively trying to get this administration to carry through with its promise to conduct the redistricting exercise ahead of the 2025 general elections. Mr. Enriquez, good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here, and thanks for having me. It's my pleasure to discuss this ongoing constitutional challenge that we're having here in Belize. So thanks for inviting me.
Let's start from the beginning. I know that prior to this administration coming into office in 2020, there was a claim that was essentially brought forward by the Belize Peace Movement. If I'm not mistaken, this sort of got the ball rolling in terms of trying to get, one, the previous administration to carry out the redistricting exercise, and two, that initial claim brought on board the People's United Party when they were in opposition, and I believe, if I'm also not mistaken, Lord Michael Ashcroft as an interested party. Well, the PUP took over in 2020. We're in 2025 with only a few months ahead, and there still hasn't been any redistricting. Let's begin there. Share with us your perspective in terms of why this should have been dealt with a long time ago and why we are where we are presently.
Thanks very much. That's a very good question. As a matter of fact, I've been consistently writing about the vast malapportionment of Belize's electoral divisions since around 2010, and it has been increasing and getting way worse since then. And it was a concern for me because people in our electoral divisions, and especially those in Belize City, were not seeing the vast injustice that we were doing in calling elections over and over without adhering to Section 90 of the Constitution, which mandates that electoral divisions should be nearly as equal as possible. So I just want to, here we have, for example, current moment, electoral division such as Stan Creek West, where we have one area representative for more than 10,000 registered voters. It's about 10,400. So that one area representative is representing communities like Independence, Placencia, Saint Bite, Hopkins, Georgetown, San Roman, Maya Center, Mullins River, all of these communities in this vast expanse of area for one area representative. And then you have Mesopotamia or Fort George.
Or Queen Square.
Or Queen Square, a number of Belize City electoral divisions having within 2,500 to 3,000 registered voters.
Very unequal.
Very unequal. So you have one area representative within these small, they could, within a day, and you have this other one in Stand Creek West as an example, have all of these other communities that he is representing. So it is an insult, it is an injustice to these communities to have this one area representative trying to cover all of them at the same time. Another distorted and severely malapportioned one, apart from these ones in Belize City, is also Belize Rural South. They have to, this one area representative will have to also represent 10,000 of his registered voters. Which would include San Pedro, and Key Corker, and St. George's Key. You also have Belmopan.
Yes.
You have more than 10,000. So I'm asking every time, what do these area representatives do in cabinet to continue to maintain the status quo? What kind of thinking are they doing?
Perhaps they don't want to, challenge each other in a particular party.
It does not have to come out even in public. Just find a way to point, look, we are violating this constitution consistently. Now, I want to get back to your question where you asked about the involvement of this current administration when the matter was being brought to court by the Belize Peace Movement. And I want to continue to applaud the Belize Peace Movement for the tremendous effort they've taken over years, quietly using their resources, time, volunteering to try to get this right. And then you have these two mass political parties fighting to maintain the status quo, in which they're saying, you people in the southern area of Belize, you people in the Keys, those who are vastly malapportioned, we do not care for you all. We want to maintain the status quo in order to maintain power in the Belize City constituencies. Severely malapportioned, and the thing is, they're fighting to maintain the status quo, finding all kinds of legal maneuverings, but we're still ending up with the same result, in that we're not redistricting in line with Section 90 of the Constitution.
So redistricting, for the benefit of our viewers who may not know, is essentially redrawing the electoral map so that the various constituencies are as close as possible to being equal.
That's what the Constitution
That's
says.
a layman's description of what redistricting is.
Yes.
In your opinion, how difficult is such an undertaking, or how easy is it if the party in power puts its mind to being able to carry this through?
There are technologies that could draw maps, insert registered voters, to make the redistricting in line with the Constitution. There are technologies that exist, and groundwork has been laid, but the political will is against having this fairness in representation. And that is the problem that we're facing, a constitutional crisis. And they want to continue this to carry on to the next 5 years.
Because it would be favorable for them if they don't affect the status quo.
It could also still be favorable for them if they are in line with the Constitution. It could be. There's nothing to say that because they redistrict, but the root problem is that there are some greedy power-hungry leaders that want to maintain this status quo for their own self, and they're not thinking about the national interest in which the Constitution is designed to protect people from these same kinds of fraud. And so you have these men at the beginning of each term of office, they put their hand on the Bible and swear on oath to abide by the Constitution. They might as well put their hand on a Nancy storybook, because that's how they behave.
Or an Aesop fable.
Or an Aesop fable. Just a Nancy story, put their hand there and say, well, we want to continue this fraud and these tricks to violate our Constitution.
One would argue, though, that the last time we attempted, I will say, to do redistricting was in 2005 under the Musa administration, where we went from 29 to 31 constituencies. One would say it didn't really work out in the civilians' favor.
Yeah, they still maintain the
status quo, right?
Yeah.
So what would be the necessary steps needed in order for us to not have such a failed attempt again?
I think the people of Belize, all organizations, must now call both political parties to task to say enough is enough. What they're doing is that they're using the people's resources. They're finding money to pay high-priced attorneys outside of the Attorney General's office even, and using the people's money to fight against the will of the people. And so while we interested persons, very concerned citizens, would like to change the status quo, here we are fundraising to even try to afford legal costs against an established and an entrenched political directorate that will use the people's resources to fight against the people to maintain their own self-interest. I find that it is ridiculous, actually. They have there's no conscience, and there's no desire to abide by the political, by the Constitution. I am many times deeply sorry to see our Prime Minister. I think he's being manipulated by the political forces in Belize City. I don't know the Prime Minister personally. I know him through family connections. One of my uncles tutored him through primary school, and so I know that he can be a decent man at heart. But if he does not take the leadership of his party to say, these are the guideline principles that we have, the Constitution being one of them, then I can see that he's being manipulated by the powers that be within the city to maintain the status quo. Ironically, the same Minister of Constitutional Affairs went to court before the last elections to block the injunction for redistricting. And then soon after, the party promised, yes, we're going to do it. And now that he's in charge,
but there was a consent order. But before I get to that, I'd want to go on record to say that I believe the Belizean citizenry is being disrespected by both of the major political parties. Why do I say so? What I find to be ironic is the fact that, again, before this administration took office in 2020, they were on the BPM side when they led that charge. Just before 2020, they had an about face and decided that they would block the injunction. Now, they're putting up some of the very same lawyers who filed on their behalf to go against the BPM and any other parties that are interested in seeing this thing through. That's on one hand. On the other hand, the UDP were in office for 3 terms. Now they issued a release, I believe, yesterday asking for this redistricting before the elections. What water does that hold when you were once in the driver's seat for 13 years saw that the constituencies were growing by leaps and bounds, really, did nothing to properly apportion the constituencies. Now you're clamoring for that to happen at the last minute. I don't know that that's their place to do that. I find it to be disrespectful in a sense. But to my point here, Jerry, this process could very well be, in a sense, frustrated if the Prime Minister decides at 9:30 this morning that we're going to have an elections in the next 30 days. Where do you guys go from there in terms of the next course of action to take?
It will be an interesting day ahead to see how this pans out. But let me say this. If the Prime Minister calls election today, it confirms the point that this government does not give a darn about the Belizean people. They could find all kinds of loopholes in their legal maneuverings, but the fact is there is a vast malapportionment of electoral division. And so this will be an illegal election, again, as it violates the Constitution. We're going to challenge these things. We're going to challenge these things in a court of law right throughout until we find the conclusion that abides with the Constitution.
So then let's go back to the consent order then. Because in 2020, they were party to the consent order that said that once they took office, that they would see to it that the redistricting exercise takes place.
They did, yes.
Now, a few weeks ago, PM Briseno was right on this couch with me, and we were doing sort of an informal review of the first 5 years of his administration. And while he didn't find anything wrong with all he has accomplished, the elephant in the room was this very same conversation we're having now, the redistricting and their failure to do so.
Yes.
Now he has promised on record, right here on this couch, that they would seek to do that in their subsequent term of office, when they should have done it within this particular period.
Did he put his hand on the Anansi storybook when he said that? That's what they do. We've seen that over and over and over. And look, I want to make sure that the Belizean public understands. This is not a fight against PUP or UDP, and I'm not involved in any of the political parties. This is to maintain, this is to fight for the rights of those communities that are underrepresented in our governance, and we need to find ways to make it right. There's all kinds of maneuverings to get to the bottom line. That they're doing is that they do not want redistricting to happen. So I appeal and call on all organizations that are so silent in all of this to lend their voice to this illegal act that they're doing.
All society organizations.
As long as you're quiet, that means you're maintaining the status quo. And I'm going to say it I'll repeatedly say that. If you sit there and are quiet and you're watching all of this unfold, you are part of the destruction of Belize's democracy.
When we see the American government, and by their laws, redistricting takes place, every 10 years or so?
Yes.
I know our constitution does not necessarily have a time frame, but for the way that our population is growing, I believe that 10 years is sufficient.
Yes.
But how expensive would redistricting actually be? And do we have enough people running for office to represent various constituencies?
If you shrink some of the Belize city number of constituencies, as it should be, or combine some of those, and then you create new ones like Stan Creek West. You could have Stan Creek Southeast and Stan Creek Southwest, for example. There are technologies to do this within a short time. So political parties ought to be preparing new representatives for those new districts. But we cannot.
Here we go, Jerry. A year or two ago, this piece of work was tasked with someone to spearhead, and the electoral map was redrawn, right? And many of the area representatives or the standard bearers or whoever they are cried holy hell.
They're
based on the
losing
fact
votes.
that right. So while there is this push to have it done, when it was redrawn in the first instance and presented, it has since been stayed. There has been no execution of that.
You're talking about the Electoral and Boundaries Commission proposal.
Yes, because I saw the map. I saw
because there was hardly anything done. There was hardly anything done in the reconfiguration. I think their proposal was to. It was not creating the equal or nearly as equal representation as the Constitution mandates. It was a kind of a band-aid that would even continue like 25 to 35% malapportionment when international standard is 10 to 15%. Yeah. So what they did, I would say, was a poor job, and that is another bottleneck that we're not seeing. The Electoral and Boundaries Commission is not an objective commission. It's their both political parties there again represented in this 5-member commission. Which would be 2 appointed by the People's United Party, 2 by the opposition party, and then the chair, who is also supposed to be neutral, is still appointed by the Prime Minister. And so the bottleneck is the choking point, that we have this group of men plus their political party continuing this kind of status quo, and it is an insult to the people of Belize, and it is also an injustice. So if we have elections called, you're subjecting the population to participate in an illegal act, and the Prime Minister and the government of Belize ought to know better, especially that they promised at the beginning of their term that they would move towards good governance. All this thing about constitutional reform and all that has gone nowhere.
So in the latter part of last week, there was an exchange of letters between Senior Counsel Ram Logan and, in this case, Senior Counsel Amon Courtney.
Acting on behalf of the Attorney General, acting on behalf of the government of the Governor General, acting on behalf of the Speaker of the House. So we have a super Attorney General ministry as such, yes.
All right, so in your correspondence with him,
yes,
you were essentially asking for 5 days lead time before an announcement is made concerning the date for the general elections. We don't know just yet with any certainty that will take place, considering the fact that it could very well be at 9:30 this morning. The PM comes on in a televised statement and says, okay, we have 30 days from here, House is dissolved, so on and so forth. You don't get that 5-day indication. So the question is, what happens? And I asked earlier if they completely circumvent or abrogate what should have been the work that needs to be done, which is go to the court and figure it out there. What happens? You don't get that 5 days, you don't get what you're asking for.
The 5 days was mainly as a kind of, so as not to waste the court's time in a sense. But here is a response that we got yesterday evening from the attorney, from Courtney and Company related to that letter. It says, we write further to our letter of 7th February 2025 on behalf of our client, the Attorney General of Belize. The Election and Boundaries Commission's report was laid before the National Assembly, and the proposals in the said report have been transposed to the Representation of the People Amendment Bill 2024. The bill was introduced in the National Assembly on 30th May 2024, and on June 10, 2024, it was referred to the Public Service, Labor, Industry, and Trade Committee for consideration. The bill was later deferred due to objections from the Belize Peace Movement, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and members of the opposition. Furthermore, on 8 August Madam Justice Nabi found that the respondents in the claim number 25 of 2019, and they list the name of the claimants, have complied with the consent order dated 29th November 2022. And finally it says, in the premises, your client's intended claim is wholly misconceived. So that all of this is misconceived according to the Attorney General through their attorney. The government has and continues to comply with its constitutional obligations. It's the crux of this letter, the government. So they're convinced that we have already done all that we could. We have complied with our constitutional obligations, and we are therefore instructed to indicate that the Prime Minister declines your request for an undertaking.
Wow.
So we have complied, is what they say, with all our constitutional obligations. We don't have to do anything else, and that gives us, we could proceed. So that answers that question. But as I mentioned, nothing has been done with redistricting. They're hell-bent on continuing an election and subjecting the people of Belize to participate in an act that is unconstitutional.
Mr. Jerry, and I have a question for you in terms of, I applaud your efforts as a civilian. This is exactly what we should be doing, challenging the government to ensure that we have our constitutional rights in order. But why is it that majority of our Belizeans they're not behind this bandwagon then of redistricting? Is it that they don't really understand how beneficial it actually is for them?
Two things I think about. A lot of Belizeans, they are in survival mode. They have to get to life and are very concerned about how to make life work. And so issues like this are not deeply examined. Secondly, in our school system, well, I don't think people are taught to think critically and look at the Constitution and see how our system works. And so both political parties play on that. In their election, you will see all these handouts going on, playing on people's survival mode, or their own way of trying to survive in life. So they participate in this, and then people are forgotten, redistricting forgotten, and so citizens like us who are aware and concerned must call the parties that be to task.
Here's the matter in a nutshell. This has to do at its very heart with access to service and representation.
Yes.
So when you have a constituency like Stan Creek West, as we've mentioned, that has in excess of 10,000 registered voters, that's just those who are voting population and have registered. That's not kids, that's not anybody else, right? And you have one area representative. The likelihood of you being able to get the kind of service and representation that you need is considerably lower,
of course,
than in a constituency where the 2,500 people, the likelihood is, or the probability is higher.
Yes.
The average person doesn't think, forgive me for saying, in that manner. They think, okay, I'll go and cast my vote for whatever reason, but I'm not looking at how I fit within this big picture. Right? And so after election day, they don't worry about, why I have to stand up in a line for so long for Clinic Wednesday for city minister because he have 500 other people ahead of me.
Right.
They don't look at it from that point of view. And I think at the heart of it, that's
definitely
the issue.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. But like we were mentioning this morning, we were talking about why is it that you're not seeing your problems being resolved. Think of it as you're a mother with 20 kids, right? You as one parent can't attend to the needs, the proper needs, the nurturing of all 20 children.
Right.
And because you can't do that, there will be neglect. Some persons might fall into poverty, some persons might fall into crime. There are all of these other social issues that come with not being properly represented. And that is the bottom line of this issue. where you live, do you feel like you are properly represented?
Not at all.
Not at all.
I live in Belmopan. I've spoken with the area representative of Belmopan. He admits that it is a lot to cover for 10,000, and I keep challenging, why do you sit in cabinet to
and
take
not
this?
say anything.
Not saying, or even if you say anything, what is happening? What do you talk about in there to change the system?
I have another question. Why is it that most of the constituencies fall within the Belize district?
I'm not certain why it falls within, but I think there's some historical precedence to this. And so even as the country grew outside of the Belize city and in the other districts, that was not recognized. So those who consider themselves royal within the Belize city context are just seeing that narrow view and want to maintain the kinds of power for their own family and their own family dynasty, because it is becoming that. Sons of former prime ministers, relatives, connected persons, and they insist on seeing the country through the control of Belize City rather than an inclusive nation building thing. And the people in the South are feeling it for decades. They're neglected. Imagine again one representative for Independence, Hopkins, Saint by Maya Center, all of those areas, they have less access to those.
I wonder how often they see
and so you could see that the kind of representation is ineffective, and that has to change.
If the court rules in your favor of this lawsuit, what would take place then?
What would take place is that we trigger the actions toward redistricting in a fair manner in accordance to Section 90 of the Constitution.
Which, if you look at the length of time, would be the remainder of 2025 plus 3 months if they so choose to, before calling the next general election, to allow for this process to take place.
Rather than wait for another 5 years until 2030 for this to come into effect, and it will just worsen. So I appeal.
Do you believe that the claim that you would bring before the court, should it get there, has sufficient teeth?
It does, and in fact, the Constitution speaks to that. What ought to be done. These guys are not above the law. They come into government and with the oath to abide by the Constitution. And so we will challenge that all the way. We're calling on all international bodies to put their spotlight on this. The Commonwealth and the OAS also has
as observers, right? They will
they cannot call this a fair election under this arrangement. It cannot be fair. It is something that needs to change.
Mr. Jerry, I have to say that I think this is an extremely important, valiant service that you're doing for the people. I do wish you and your team the best of luck with it. Do you have any final words in order to appeal to the citizens of Belize and organizations?
If I could try to break this down a little bit for others to understand.
Yes,
imagine
please.
A teacher, let's say you have a class or a multiple class, and you have a teacher with 10 students and another teacher with 50 students in the classroom. And every time the parents complain, hey, you see it's unfair that one teacher has 10 students preparing them for exam, and then another teacher has 50 students. And the teacher with 10 students will want to do everything to maintain that and cuss out those ones who want more equity. We're faced with that kind of situation. And if we could put it in that light. But finally, I'd like to mention to the population that, again, we cannot be dividing ourselves on this issue. Some people are nitpicking and saying very frivolous things, and those kinds of things make the system continue. You can't be saying, he that UDP, he that PUP, all those kind of silliness. It's silly season. The bottom line is that many constituencies are too large. Many are far less than average, 75% less than average in some cases, 2 cases. And we need to correct it for the benefit of the entire nation. We have to stop this silliness of division among ourselves. We have to unite. One more thing, there's a GoFundMe site. We're trying to raise some funds to be able to assist in paying for all the legal fees. We don't have the money, I don't have it. We're working on kind of nothing, and we want the support of all citizens to be able to get this through for the benefit of the nation.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mr. Enriquez. I know you have a long day ahead of you.
I have a long day, an interesting day. So
best of luck, and we're going to keep tabs on this particular story. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks very much. My pleasure.
All right, we are going to take a quick break, but then we're going to switch gears with our friends from Smart as they keep you connected with love. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
El Patio Grill has been using Belize Bank for over 25 years. We only use Belize Bank at our restaurant. That's why we were able to win this trip to Europe. I had never been to Europe. We found out it was Madrid, and we were excited, and we went to this football match. The teams reached before the game, and everybody was just outside, you know. You can't explain. The noise just roared like 3 blocks down the street, but when you got in there and you saw 70,000 people in there, that was amazing. I couldn't believe it was happening. I had to pinch myself to make sure it was real, you know, because it's a one-in-a-lifetime experience, I'd say. My lucky plus one was my son. He's 18 years old, so he was really excited, and he enjoyed it as well. He said it's his best trip ever, so it's a priceless experience that we got. Belize Bank has always been there for me. Whatever transactions or whatever I need to do, they're always there for me. I would recommend everybody to use Belize Bank. It's the oldest bank in our country, and they continue to do their best.
Really? You not switch yet? No what? I tell you. I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that thought line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when that thought line bling, Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up your brand, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's Smart or no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
This is my first time here.
Hopefully it's my last. My dear friends, here we are, all in our true colors.
Transfer papers, your key to the Mvule Kingdom.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I know.
Here are your clippers. Clippers.
Who's in?
We are perfect. We run this place. So let's act like it.
Solomon, the head prefect, quick. Is my collar straight?
We'll be out of Mvule High before you can pronounce the word scholarship.
We have a mystery to solve. The only way we can make a difference is if we stick together. When I'm head prefect, each and every student will have a voice.
We need to show that news quick, Mvule.
I hate this school!
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSD, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Belize, a nation full of promise, beauty, and ambition. As we look to the future, there's a story unfolding that's bringing hope to communities across our country, a story of growth, resilience, and opportunity. The good news? Belize's unemployment rate is declining, and that's something to celebrate. Tune in on February 17th for the second episode of Pocket Plans with Rumil Arana.
The streetlight implementation plan is to replace the high-pressured sodium lights, better known as HPS lights. These HPS lights will be replaced by the LED lights. Therefore, LED streetlights advanced optics can fine-tune the distribution of lights, ensuring better coverage of the roads, roundabouts, parks, businesses, public area, homes, etc. The feedback have been great. We get positive feedback from the community when it comes to the improved brightness and light quality which LED provides by means of visibility and safety, especially at night.
Before the LED lights was installed, it was kind of dark, you know. Most of the time, they have to look and check. But with the LED lights now, you can see from far.
I like it because it's a nice bright light, because the customer feel much safer to come to the shop.
From the LED lights now that BL had put, it improved a lot. Well, the difference is that they look way far clear.
Well, I must say thanks again to BL on this one, because actually that was a nice improvement. Also, it bring up the mahogany, because the mahogany is one of the active street in Belize City, and also I live back at Gongolong, and when I come off work, it's just a bloom. Nice for me now. When I come home at night, I can see clearly.
The main objective this year is basically to change out 16,000 HPS lights. So the street light replacement will occur at every respective zone. For example, Central, Belize District, North, Orinjoa, Corozal, West, Cayo District, South, Tancreek District, and Toledo District. We have started some years back with the street light replacement project, and the 16,000 will account for the 100% that we need to complete on the distribution system.
Bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
February is all about Honda. Get special pricing and discounts on all Honda products. Enjoy up to 25% off select Honda products and 20% off Honda parts. Don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make your purchase. There will also be a bike rally throughout the streets of Belize City, Blue Creek, and Spanish Lookout on February 8th, 15th, and 22nd respectively. All participants will get free oil change. Check out our Facebook page for more details. Love your Honda. It's all about deals and discounts on Honda products throughout the month of February, only at Benquip Equipment Parts Service.
Welcome back. Joining us for our second conversation, we have our friends from Smart here to tell us how they're going to be keeping you connected this month of February. Joining us in studio, we have Karina Kanta, and she's the PR and Communications Officer over at Smart. Good morning. And Tristan Coleman made it, the Marketing Manager over at Smart. Good morning,
Good
ladies
morning.
and gentlemen. So, I mean, you know, we have a lot to discuss. Every time you guys come here into the studio, it's always a lot of campaigns, a lot of promotions, and of course, a lot of love with Smart. Karina, let's start with you.
Yes, well, thank you once again for having us. It's always a pleasure being here with you and your lovely audience. So to start out, we just want to highlight that next month we're going to be celebrating 20 years of sharing love, providing connectivity. And one of our bigger activities that we have for March is our Build with Hand in Hand Ministries. We love giving back to our customers. So we just wanted to highlight that the requirements are already listed on our Facebook page. There is a WhatsApp number that you can call. You WhatsApp only so that you can set up your appointment to take in your documents. So that is one of the initiatives that are that is dear to our hearts, because then partnerships like with Hand in Hand Ministries just really aligns with what we look at, building out the community and making lives better for our customers.
Can you give some details more a little bit about that?
All right, the Hand in Hand Ministry Build is where we give the opportunity to one of our customers that are they have their own land. If you don't have your land, you have permission to build on that land. So what we do is we partner with Hand in Hand Ministries, whereby they assist in building the house. But it's not just building the house. You have to commit to doing 12 skill classes, whereby they pretty much teach you how to budget and how to upkeep the home and things like that. So it's a well-rounded thing. They don't just come and give you a house and
so a little bit of financial literacy and home economics.
Correct.
That sort of stuff.
Because then sometimes, with all of the challenges in life, sometimes a person may not have had the opportunity to have had, those kinds of, lessons. So we do that with them. And also they help in not only building their home, but they also build other homes and any other build projects that may be throughout the year. And then this just gives them the added advantage of, just having pride in not only helping yourself, but helping somebody else. And, that just keeps it going and, pretty much paying it forward. And then because of that, we just give them the opportunity to, because then sometimes you go to the bank, you may not have, especially if you're on the lower spectrum of wages. But it's it really just is an opportunity for us to give back to our community, because one person you change and then that person pays it forward to somebody else, and then that's the trickle down effect that we are looking for. And over the 20 years of being at Smart, those are the type of initiatives that we hold dear to our hearts, like I mentioned, and it just gives us the opportunity to keep on giving back. We also bring that around, because then we also do sponsorships that just highlight culture and innovations, not only at Smart, but with those types of partnership. We have the partnership right now with the Love Fest, and Tristan will dive in a little about that. We also have, because then those partnerships are also tied to some promotions that we have. So you can, right now we'll go into that. But I'll pass it over to Tristan, who will give us an overview of one of our newest commercials and ads and how it touches our lives.
Yes. So we are excited. We are always doing new things at Smart, as you know. And we love coming on and sharing this, our new collaborators. Our family is growing. And like Karina said, there's a lot of things happening, but to start, I think if you haven't seen the ad, we should give everyone a chance to look at it.
The newest
this
ad.
Is our new ad,
our Valentine's ad in the month of love.
Okay.
With JCAS as
your ambassador. So if we have...
There it is.
I know that girl. Okay, all right. So let's talk about what was the overall objective of this particular song. What is it that you really wanted our viewers to get? Because on a use one, Drake backdrop there.
Yeah. So what we did, as usual, we took our twist on things. We spoke to JCAS. This is love, and Smart is about love. This is Love Month. And we want to let that resonate in a creative way.
So the Jack Hotline bling.
Actually, so now it's smart.
Made it an acoustic.
Yeah, yes,
it's nice
smart
though.
Hotline bling.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, it is out. It is on YouTube. It is out on Instagram. It is out on Facebook. So if you haven't seen it or you want to rewatch it and hear J-Cast as he once again astounds us with his lyrics. We've been singing it in the office. You know, like every once in a while, you know, you're gonna hear someone sing a different part of the lyric about it. And we made like a twist, you know, with this ad. We're so happy to have
in terms of
and so forth.
Marketing and promoting your products and services, how important has it been to the development of the company to bring on board smart ambassadors?
Well, I think it just is a testament of how the family is growing, not just, you know, on a day-to-day basis, like we're coming here and telling you we're growing, but you can actually see it through the ambassadors that are coming on board and not just switching their number if they had a different number, but actually saying, okay, let's do something fun to show everyone that not only am I now a part of your family, but I support the work you're doing.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that in this particular video here, it basically is, the story is you not switch yet, and because you not switch yet, you not love me, you know? Is that it?
So we were actually, when we were going over the with J-Cast and we're talking about the concept for the ad, he's like, Mara said, I love smart so much that I willing to let my girl pay it. I'm like, yes.
That's the concept.
And then the girl came in portraying his girlfriend in the ad. She said, well, you know what? I will make the switch because I know the left.
Yeah, you know why he broke up with me, so I have to switch.
Yes.
This is a very deep concept.
Yeah.
All right, so we have the ad, so we could go back to that and have the audio full so that our viewers who may not have seen or heard it before would have that opportunity to do so now.
Okay, sure.
All right.
Really? You not switch yet? You know what? I tell you. I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that thought line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when that thought line bling, Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up your brand, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's smarter, no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
Basically saying you need to
Nice
switch.
concept.
Yes.
If you say we like the song says smarter, no one else, and smart is the best in the land. We actually took this on a play of if you're with the other guys, this is the month to break up with your plan.
Okay. And hence your promotions for this month.
So tying back to our promotions, you know, Smart's like Jika said, Smart's the month of love. So what I will advise that if anyone's coming to sign up this month, come in twos for a postpaid plan. That's a little hint.
Okay.
We look out on our Facebook and Instagram for more details. But kind of alluding to what Karina said regarding partnerships as well.
Yeah.
We partnered with PlayTune Marketing, and they have this Love Fest coming up this weekend. It's the 15th in Santa Elena, and inspired by welcoming Busy Signal, who is a part of the concert. We actually have our night shift a bundle. Yes.
I really like it. Yes, man. Yes, man.
We are welcoming in honor of Mr. Night Shift himself. We have our night shift bundle taking place. For only $7, you could get unlimited data up until 2 p.m.
From 9 a.m.
From 9 p.m.
I mean 9 p.m.
to 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Yes. Night shift for real.
Night shift for real, unlimited data. So if you're out, you're going to be out and about. You know, you have this night shift bundle.
Some sweet love on the night shift, right?
Some sweet love with unlimited data for only $7.
You could talk or text till 2 in the morning.
Yeah, well, you could WhatsApp, video call, whatever you like, with unlimited. And then we also have these. If you pay your broadband bill before the 21st, you get 2 VIP tickets to the Bronco concert actually happening as well.
Wow.
And if you buy the night shift bundle within this week, you have the chance to get a chance to meet Mr. Night Shift himself Friday when he comes in, and win 2 VIP tickets to the concert this weekend.
So what do people have to do?
So you just have to buy the night shift. If you're a prepaid customer, just dial star 100 pound, buy the night shift bundle before Thursday, and get a chance to win. Yes. Along with that, we have a scratch and win, which is another new exciting promotion. So we all know about the phone cards. We know the phone cards. That's if that's a little throwback for those of you who haven't seen a phone.
You used to get your shilling and used to forget your pin.
Yes, but now we're alluding to that with the scratch and win. So every phone card for $10 and $20 has a little bubble on it. Once you buy them at the Smart Showroom all month long.
Yeah.
And if you so it's a $10 and $20 phone cards, and then you have the little bubble, you scratch it, and if it reveals the word love, then you are a winner of $300.
Nice.
So this is countrywide, so every showroom will have winners for sure.
Let's circle back to corporate social responsibility. And I know that marketing and promotion is the way to go in terms of getting the brand out there.
Yes.
But once you've established the brand, in this case, Smart is going on to its 20th year, right? In terms of where it stands as a corporate social citizen, what else has been done beyond partnering with Hand in Hand and so forth to try to build the communities that it serves?
Okay, well, outside of that, we have ongoing sponsorships that we do monthly with UNICEF, with the Department of Youth Services, with schools, because our pillars are education, in the community. We have all of that ties back into what we're doing. So it's not just doing this one hand-in-hand ministries and that's it. Yeah. We are constantly looking on how to develop our community and how to be innovative as it relates to different services that we can better their experience with. So whenever we have ads like this, we don't just come up with an ad to say, come up with an ad. It all ties back to our social responsibilities, also to the different services that we have. As Jake has said, the best in the land, connectivity. Now we're making investments to better the experience for the customer with our Band 4 rollout. As a normal person, you hear Band 4. What is a band? Like we were making a joke. It's a rubber band, headband, wristband, and actually, in simple layman terms for the everyday person, it just is it's a frequency that Smart uses. At the moment, we have 3 bands. We have Band 5, Band 13, and now we have Band 4. And what this does is really just gives you inclusivity with phones, because majority of the times you have a phone but it doesn't support the frequencies that are in country. You have that experience a lot of time when your family or whatever send you a phone from States, and then you're happy when you go to any of the service providers, it doesn't work. So what we're doing now is we're doing underground campaigns, just educating our customers in how to unlock your phone's full potential.
Okay.
So for example, like my phone, I have a Samsung Galaxy, not Galaxy, I wish. Samsung S52. And then prior to that, it used to just have H++. And then now with the added investment of the Band 4, it shows 4G. Finally, I was excited. I'm telling the guys, I don't know what you guys did. And they're like, it's the Band 4 car. And then how do you know if your phone supports Band 4? So I did further research, and then this is the information we're going to pass on to our customers. So when I did my research first, it showed that it did not support band 13.
Okay.
So that's why it showed S++. Now with the band 4, now I did additional research on how do you do that. You go about phone, you go to their model, because all phones are not created equal, people. You will have the same phone, but then maybe your phone come from China, maybe it come from the US, maybe it come, so, and then that's why some features may not work.
Yeah.
So you go to about phone, you get your model number, and it shows you the frequencies that your phone supports. So that's a good thing for our customers to know when you go to purchase a phone, because we want you to be able to unlock your phone's full potential.
And of course to connect with the service.
And to connect with the service. And then the continued investment for the band 4 rollout so that your experience can be, much better. So it all ties back into, the concepts that we do with not only the videos, but the development of the communities and reaching those communities via the investments that we continue to make.
And this band 4 is also being rolled out.
Yes,
this
it's
month.
been rolled out. Actually, it has already started from last year. We've done, we've had the rollout in San Ignacio, Benque, Orange Walk. We have Belize City and San Pedro, and then we have additional expansions coming because of that. And then so the education campaign that we're embarking on is just pretty much to help our customers. When you hear would you need a new phone? No. Majority of the phones do support the band 4 and band 13, so it's for us to just show you how to check.
Yeah.
And if you do, by any chance of the imagination, you have a old phone, then we have the device deals that are perfect.
Yeah, also like alluding to what Karina said, or referencing what Karina said, some people they may not have the correct phone, which is why we have great promos. Like in this month, where you could get you get 2 devices for one price.
Okay.
Yes, so 2 for 1.
So 2 people have to go in again?
No,
okay.
this is just one price. That is more like a gift. If you 2 people go to sign up, there's a special promo for you. But this is just regular device deals. You could get 2 devices for one price, and I believe they start as low as $200 right over there.
And the regular price, if you bought these separately, would be $315. So if you couple it, it's $200. So you save $115, and the rest of the bundles follow that same trend. Okay. Once you buy it in a bundle, so you can treat yourself. If you want to have 2 phones, but you can treat your mom, your dad, your partner.
What do we say, April? What's there not to love about February? Right?
Exactly. And it's only for these particular brands of phones.
Yeah, well, there's a wide range of phones, not only the ones showed on screen. So you can come in to the nearest smart showroom office and find out what is there for you. We have a lot going on, whether you're prepaid, postpaid, broadband, or if you're not a smart customer yet and you want to join the smart family.
Make the switch, especially this month.
Yes, definitely.
All right, as we wrap up our conversation, is there any other words that you'd like to share with our audience for this morning?
Well, from my end, I would definitely want to thank everyone, all our customers, as usual, for their continuous support. We keep expanding, making these improvements, as Karina highlighted, due to their continuous support, and which is why we are happy to be improving our services for them. So everyone gets a better mobile experience. And while this continues to grow across our different services, we tell you mainly look out for our new ambassadors and our exciting promotions, because there's many more to come, especially in this month of March for our anniversary.
And just a reminder of viewers how they can be a part of the contest for this weekend.
Make sure you buy your night shift from dial star 100 pound, and then you get your $7 and unlimited data from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Wonderful.
Or if you pay your postpaid bill on time, postpaid early, you have until the 13th to pay your postpaid bill on time, and then you also get entered into the Love Fest raffle.
Awesome. Well, Karina, Tristan, always a pleasure. Thank you both so much for being here. Happy anniversary in advance to Smart. I'm sure we'll be seeing you guys before that. All right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, it's all about Sip, Swirl, and Smile with Sangria Mia. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
part of sustainability is the livelihood of the people.
El agua es importante para nosotros, para la gente. Sin agua no es vida. Pero hoy que tenemos agua las 24 horas, somos felices. Con agua, todo es una vida.
The 3 communities now have access to quality and quantity of water that they didn't have before. Having a rehabilitated system that, for example, can ensure that even while you have these disasters, flood events that will last from a week to 2, that you still have a continuous supply of water, quality water. Health is one of the basic elements that we need. And these communities, again, because they're remote, they don't have access to 24-hour services. Having a polyclinic with 24-hour service addresses the issue of basic health services to the wide population of communities.
El proyecto solar también el benefició bastante porque ahora antes el cobro de luz venía de $1,050 a $800 y ahora ya normalizó como 3 meses, estamos pagando $500 o 530 es lo más. Sé que hay varias personas, varias organizaciones que ayudaron y de parte de la aldea de Bilbao, pues todos estamos agradecidos. Gracias por todo lo que hicieron en la aldea.
Belize, a nation full of promise, beauty, and ambition. As we look to the future, there's a story unfolding that's bringing hope to communities across our country, a story of growth, resilience, and opportunity. The good news? Belize's unemployment rate is declining, and that's something to celebrate. Tune in on February 17th for the 2nd episode of Pocket Plans with Rumil Arana.
My name is Leomar Langzert, and I'm a teacher, and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is to see the features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer. With these online that Belize Bank offer, there's basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Good night, Carlos. Can you tell us what happened here?
Yeah, I was in my living room getting ready to watch game, then bang, current gone. When I went outside, my current come back, and I see why. A crate of glowing light hose was connected to my breaker. Then I turned around and I see this well-dressed man leaving in my yard from where the crates are.
Really?
Come see for yourself. Bro, I just as confused as you, but current come back and game day on.
Thank you, Carlos. Well, viewers, you heard it here live. Well-dressed man, glowing crates of lighthouse. Studio, back to you.
Thank you, John. What a strange turn of events.
We'll be sure to investigate this further.
Until next time, viewers.
We've brought healthcare closer to home. Our fully equipped mobile clinics ensure that even the most remote communities have access to care, especially for our elderly population. From routine checkups to advanced diagnostics, these clinics bridge the gap between rural Belize and essential health services. Accessible care for every generation.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness, equal health for all.
Really? You not switch yet? No what? I tired of it. I done.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that touch line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when that touch line bling, Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up and run, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's Smarter, no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
Coming up, a festival of long-distance running with some very familiar charms. How about Run Barbados? When it comes to entertainment, this iconic couple really puts on a show. Caribbean Passport TV brings the region closer together. Exciting destinations, healthier meals. Be viewing this station. So have your passport ready and let's travel.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. Joining us for our third and final segment, we have Amira Correa Pelayo, and she's the owner of Sangria Mia. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to always have you in the set with us, Amira. And of course, it is the month of love, so you definitely had to spice things up with the sangria.
Definitely. You know, it's the month of love, and you know, we have some awesome gift packages, and we launched some. We have our Valentine's Sangria, which is our rosé berry mix, and our rosé tropical berry. So I want you to help me, or you make a rosé berry mix.
I don't know how good my bartending skills are, but we're gonna find out today. I don't have my gloves. But before we get into making the actual sangria, what other mixes do you have available right now?
Well, we have, with Sangria Mia, we have around a total of like 12 flavors of sangria.
Wow. Okay.
But what we have right now, again, like I'm saying, the focus is on the rosé tropical berry, the rosé berry mix. But we also have tropical berry red. We have tropical passion. If you're a passion fruit lover, I'm telling you, this tropical passion is exquisite. We have it in red, we have it in white.
Nice.
And we also have a male sangria. We developed, we crafted a sangria for men.
Okay.
We launched it last year for Father's Day, which is Cabernet Sauvignon that we make. That is infused with strawberry, blueberry, raspberry, and a shot of whiskey. Okay. And I actually brought that today.
Okay.
Yes, because, you know, it's Valentine's, and yes, you know, we want to have a lot of women, a lot of gifts for females and women. And the ladies, but we also have to not forget the gentlemen. So
I'm glad that we're finally being considered. Man,
finally,
that's the beauty of being on the set with you guys this morning, because as a man, I'm actually being thought of in terms of the gift for men.
Because Isani was like, well, it's sangria, so he doesn't really have to be a part of it. And she's like, no, it's actually good you're here, because I have this whiskey package.
Yes. Would you like to try it right now, or you want to get to the sangria making first?
Why not? I won't say no to you this morning.
Okay. So we actually have this gift package for men. This gift package is for $120. It has a Blackbeard sangria, like we mentioned.
Yeah.
But it also has a small package within this package that has chocolates and actually a perfume from Aromatics, or a cologne from Aromatics.
Nice.
So this actually is a male cologne, and I guess what we could do is you could go ahead and smell that and tell me what you think. I mean, this would be what would be in the mail package.
Okay, along with
this.
Sampling going on here.
So you get to, you get your senses in terms of your taste buds, in terms of the aroma, smelling it. So
it is, I do appreciate it indeed, because he's right. As much as we like to downplay it, Valentine's sometimes is more catered for women with flowers and so forth. So this is a great gesture. Yeah, you like it?
Yes.
No,
all right.
Go ahead.
A manly scent.
See, we're giving it to the gentleman first.
Yes, but you have to swirl your sangria.
So that's the Blackbeard Sangria.
Blackbeard Sangria.
Do I wait for you, April? All right, I should.
All right, let's do this.
So toast to Valentine's.
Toast to Valentine's. Okay. Oh wow. What do you think?
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. Are you a wine drinker?
Yes and no.
Okay.
If you ask me what my first option would be if I'm looking to take a drink.
I don't know that one.
Yes.
Tequila.
Oh, he likes tequila. Okay.
But if wine is around and I'm being offered, sure, I get it on the fun.
This
I
is
don't
good,
complain.
though.
I don't discriminate, right?
Definitely.
This is excellent, though.
Yeah, this is very
excellent.
And it's not as sweet as our other sangrias, because we know men don't like much of the sweetness.
Yeah.
So we definitely decreased in that.
Nice,
but how did you like the cologne?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I said.
It smells good.
It's very masculine.
So we did a lot of collaborations for this Valentine's with different small business. This collaboration is with Aromatics.
Yeah.
And then we did a collaboration here with Impression Designs. So you could get a key holder that is personalized. And we also did a collaboration with I Love Grazing Boards.
Ooh, love them.
Yes. So,
all right. So you guys made this, is what you're saying?
No, my Aromatics is a collaboration we did with Aromatics. So they are the ones that they decant fragrances from designer brands, like Valentino and different things like that. And so
Tom Ford's,
correct, So they have Coco Chanel. They have different brands that they decant. And so we collaborated with them because we know that sometimes women or men want to, just spice things up with their gift packages. So pair it with the sangria.
Something different.
Yes,
very good.
And we also have a beautiful grazing board that we collaborated with I Love Grazing Board.
So let me ask you this, Amira.
Sure.
What is the importance of these kinds of partnerships with MSMEs? Because you're looking at other small businesses that you're collaborating with.
Absolutely important. For me, that is super important. We have to come together as small business, MSMEs, support each other, and be an example for the community in general, because honestly, without collaboration, you are not able to get ahead. And I think that speaks to not only MSMEs, but in terms of, just friendship and even with family or however, we have to. So for me, it's like an example. We are the small business, we're collaborating. I Love Grazing Boards with Impression Designs, Aromatics. And so every season, so yes, this is, thank you. So this is the charcuterie board from I Love Grazing Boards.
That is beautiful.
That we pair with a bottle of our sangria. And that package is for $190. But what I forgot to mention is that if you are seeing us and you use Oye Valentine as a code when you contact us.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
Oye Valentine code for any of our gift packages, you get $5 off.
Wow.
Yes. So
the token goes a long way.
That's right. So if you want to contact us to get your gift package for your a partner that is a male, it's not $120 but it's $115.
So you contact Sangria Mia.
That's right.
With the code Oye Valentine, OYE Valentine,
and you get $5 off.
Yes.
And we have different packages. So as an example, this package here that has a sangria and a rose, that's going for $95. So you would get it for $90 if you use the code Oye Valentine. And if that one is for this one that has 2 roses with a sangria, that is going for $105. And that one will be for $100 if you contact us and you use that code. And if you want add-ons, if you want more roses, no problem. If you want to add this on,
You can't go wrong with more roses, right?
yeah, we have some gentlemen doing some ads there that, wow.
Okay,
yes,
see?
they are
You can get it
putting
on.
up their loved ones, so I'm really glad to see that.
All right, but for us and our viewers, we know that Sangria Mia is very special. The flavors are distinct. Like you said, you have almost 20 flavors. 12 flavors, sorry, 20 is going to be the...
That's
in that. But 12 flavors. So we know that you are definitely out there with your variety and so forth. So you're going to be helping me make a sangria this morning. So what do I get started with
So
first?
to get started, let's put the wine in. So this is our wine that we make. This is the white Zinfandel. You could pour it in there.
It smells really good.
Yes.
It smells like passion fruit and
if you want to left a little bit in there to just see how it tastes, I mean just to taste it.
Okay.
All right. And you could pour the rest.
Risani. All right.
It's too early to be trying to get tipsy today.
But let's just cheers.
So that's the white Zinfandel. We don't really have this on the market, but this is what we use to make our wine, and
This
we
is
make
actually
this
good
wine.
too.
Yeah.
So this is the
Very
wine
delicious.
that we make. Yes.
Okay, so we have our wine. What else do
Now
we
go
put?
ahead and add that's like the blends of all the strawberry, the blueberry, the raspberry, the juices that we make.
From the berries.
Yes.
Do you squeeze these all yourself?
Yes.
How do you?
We actually do a process. Now you can cut strawberries and blueberries. Yes. So we actually have our process. All of our sangria is made with 100% natural ingredients, no artificial flavors or syrups. So it is such a process. I'm telling you, to juice, for example, the pineapples. First, you have to go and source it from the local farmers, and then you have to get home, you have to peel it, and then you have to juice it, and goodness, it's a lot of work.
Tedious.
Yes, but definitely it definitely enhances the flavor and the quality of the product.
Okay.
Does not compare to just going in the supermarket and getting a pineapple juice from there. I mean, that's definitely easier, but the flavor would not be the same. And the same thing goes for berries.
I would imagine that then this work to cut and to press and to juice, all of that is quite...
It definitely
it's a
does.
lot.
But I'm glad I have awesome team members. I have 2 part-time team members, and they always come through for me.
They're fully dedicated, right?
Yes, they come and they assist, and I'm so grateful for my team, for my production team, and well, of course, my husband who's a part of it. Even my kids are a part of it. They wanted to be here. My son was
I'm
like,
surprised. He's your marketing manager.
Yes, he was really upset that he was not going to be here, but we're like, it's school time. So
how has your business taken off? Because I've seen you over the years participate in various courses. You do all of these seminars and what have you, in terms of not only developing yourself as an entrepreneur, but to develop your brand as well. Talk to us a bit about that.
Yes, so definitely. I mean, honestly, I feel like I still have a lot of work to do with my brand. One of my visions is to export, but I was listening to one of the training. I attended an export training, and one of the things that they said was, this was Mr. Jody, who had done the export training through the BCCI, and he said that in order for you to export, one of the first steps he would recommend is that you are an established brand in your country. So that's one of the aims that we have. We want to be able to build our brand for it to be a recognized household name. And I do think that many people do consider our brand established, but honestly, it still has a lot of work to be done. We still have so much work to be done. I still meet people who don't know about us, have never heard about us. So it's a lot of work, and that's the reason why we enroll in all of these trainings with Beltrade, BCCI, NEME, you know, wherever there is an opportunity for training. And I'm so glad that these organizations offer these trainings for MSMEs, because it helps us, it develops us. And so, you know, definitely my growth has been because of, you know, the programs that all of these organizations put out.
You're on an upward path, and that's a good thing, right?
Yes, definitely.
How have you decided to expand? And I mean, I know you talk about trading outside of Belize, but you went from, I believe, 2 flavors in the beginning to now 12. How do you keep your ideas growing and yourself relevant?
Well, one of the things that I always look at, I love to be creative. One of the things that it's easy for me to get bored. So one of the things that I love to do is sit down and think about how I could create with another flavor. And sometimes I get inspired in just some of the most unlikely ways. I would get inspired, and then an idea would hit and I would go ahead and execute it.
And that's the beauty of being a creative in your own respective field, because ideas just come from nowhere.
Exactly.
And in that moment, you have to grab it right away, right?
Correct. You know, and a lot of people, you know, when we talk about art, most of the people, we think of art like a painting or, you know, being in terms of music. And, you know, for me, this is my art. This is my creative expression. You know, so this for me is my way of being a creative being. And I believe that we all are creative beings. You know, sometimes we just have it hidden within us, and, you know, we need to like dig there. And sometimes it just so happens that life happens in some way, but it's really to bring us back to our core, for us to go to our true self, which is being creative beings.
All right, so I think I'm almost through with my sangria.
That's right.
Before I make Isani taste it,
one more strawberry.
one more strawberry for good measure, indeed. But just to repeat for our viewers that probably that are just tuning in, your promotions for your Valentine's and how they can get in contact with you to order theirs.
Yes, so you could contact us at 615-1777. You can contact us on Facebook, Instagram, sangriamia.bze. And again, if you want to take advantage of the $5 discount, just say Oye Valentine's and you will be able to get $5 off. We will send you our menu of our gift packages. And yeah, so, you know, we are here to assist. And just let us know. We try any query that comes in and you feel that you want to add something else, just let us know. We'll try to make it happen.
And they can order on Valentine's Day or before?
I would highly recommend before Valentine's Day. That way your order is secured. But do still contact us on Valentine's Day, because we always try to figure things out for our customers.
Wonderful. I'm here. Okay, I finished.
So, yes, you could. Oh, garnish. You go ahead and pour. Well, I think we need...
It's okay. I'll just use my other glass, but yes.
I think you may treat me.
I did treat Isani so he could have a new glass. I'll use my old glass.
Use your old glass.
I'll have 3 glasses
you
by
have
the end
3
of this
glasses.
segment, but I won't complain.
No, you shouldn't.
It's Wednesday. It's Tuesday. Whoa, and we're at Wednesday already.
See? Enough of the sangria. So do I stir with this?
Yes, go ahead and stir with that. And what we want to do is quickly do a garnish, just to spice it up a little bit. Right, we're gonna, I think I put the gloves on the wrong.
It's okay.
But apologies, but just for, all right. So as you can see, these are heart-shaped strawberries.
You press them.
Yes.
So cute.
And then you could pour your sangria.
Okay. All the fruits.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna, I guess you could just put it there for a little while. We're gonna add this. We're gonna add this garnish here. And here you go.
Man, my friends, this is a rare occasion.
This is a rare occasion.
The man on this set is actually being pampered in the manner in which I am, right?
Oh, wow.
Ladies, thank you.
It's
my pre-Valentine gift from you lovely ladies. We don't complain.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Yes.
Very delicious.
You're pretty
I'm
good,
good?
actually. Yes.
I'm getting there.
Excellent.
Exceptional.
Amira, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Always a pleasure having Sangria Mia. Congratulations once again on the expansion of your business. All right, we are going to take another quick break. And when we come back, it's straight to wrap things up. Don't go away.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Really? You not switch yet? No what? I tell you. I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that thought line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when that thought line bling, Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up and brand, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's Smarter, no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
Raised Belize's profile internationally by strategically advancing our interests and exercising regional leadership. Belize has held the chairmanship of CARICOM, the CARICOM Council for Foreign and Community Relations, and the Permanent Council of the OAS, held the presidency pro tempore of SICA and of Mesoamerica, co-chaired the Los Angeles Declaration process, and participated in the OAS High-Level Group on Peru. We have forged closer ties between Central America and the Caribbean by spearheading the adoption of a new plan of action on cooperation, convening trade ministers, and hosting a CARICOM-SICA summit. We have advanced Belize's development interests in high-level meetings with Japan, the EU, India, and many others. Belize's diplomats are at the forefront of global negotiations on climate change, protecting the interests of Belize. The first Belizean and first woman was appointed Secretary General of CARICOM in 2021. At a time of immense challenges and the erosion of globalization, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade has positioned Belize at the forefront of regional leadership.
Right, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking with us as we wrap up our Tuesday morning show here on Open Your Eyes. We want to say a big thank you to all of our guests for joining us and having the conversation. And of course, a big thank you to you, our viewers, because without you, this would not be possible. It is February 11th.
Yes,
and if it is your birthday today, we want to say a happy birthday to you from all of us here at Open Your Eyes and Channel 5. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, you can drop us a line right here at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch us live every day on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BC and check out our highlights on Instagram at OYE And you can also call us at 675-2555 for comments, questions. If you have a topic you want us to discuss here on What's Buzzing, let us know with our WhatsApp number. And of course, we want to ask you to join us again tomorrow morning when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you real soon, Belize. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.
Was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.